All right, hello everybody. Oh, we're kind of like bunched up here. Yeah, you.
Yeah, it's a
Which way you
little.
need to go?
You
This
go
way.
that
This way.
way, and I'll
Yeah.
go. Whoa.
All right. I'll just like shove you right off the screen. Hey everybody, it's the Tuesday night comic book preview stream here at Fantasy Books and Games. I'm Aaron. This is Sam.
Hello.
Sam's back, as you can see. Last week we had Susie, but we're happy that Sam is back.
Well, thank you.
So yeah, there's a decent amount of
Yeah.
stuff releasing tomorrow. Shockingly, I don't know what to do here because maybe I should have taken a triple check on the shelf. I don't think there's any facsimiles coming out tomorrow, and
I didn't even notice
this is
that.
like yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. This is like the first week in I don't know I can remember that there's not like been some old reprint like if for no other reason than because like Marvel and DC have been pretty consistent about reprinting some of their series monthly. So between like Secret Wars and Crisis on Infinite Earths and even like the more recent stuff like Batman Hush and Marvel's been doing Fantastic Four, it's like they've had a lot of monthly facsimile books, so
Right.
it's like every week there's something. But yeah, that's nothing. So well, we're just gonna get into I guess some of the new stuff that's coming. Well, that's not entirely true. I have a collected edition that comes out tomorrow. I'm really happy that DC has been doing these DC Finest books. I don't know if you saw this one on the shelf, Sam, but this one is science fiction. Let me get it on the camera there. The Gorilla World, and if you're a fan of DC Comics, especially Silver Age DC Comics, you know that they had kind of like I don't know if you would say it's an obsession. They had a thing for gorillas. Like
Yes.
it's just it was like a thing like right there that that's so great. Adam Strange, I think. It's an ape with a human brain, and he deliberately committed murder. Yeah, they found like at some point, I think the story goes like they realized that comic book covers that had a gorilla on them just sold really well. Like
Really?
little kids liked gorillas. Like little kids in the 60s were just fascinated by gorillas. So they were like put more gorillas in there, and so they would just like come up with stories to have monkeys and gorillas.
that
And so
that does explain like there is in the DC
there's a
universe in
proliferation
general.
of gorillas in
Yes.
the DC universe. I mean, just like Superman characters,
Like
there's a lot of
there's
gorillas.
JL8.
Yeah,
You got whole Gorilla
Gor-
City,
Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla
You have
Grodd. Yeah.
Titano, the
Yeah.
super ape. The Ultra Humanite is a
Oh yeah.
gorilla. I mean, you have like Beppo, the super monkey, the detective chimp.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a like oh, and then there's this. They're not even in any of this one. This is actually just like the sci-fi stories that you got in. You can kind of see. There you go. Like Mystery in Space and Strange Adventures. These were just sci-fi anthologies that they were putting out at the time. This is specifically from the years. Oh, this is 53 and 54. So this isn't the 60s. This is the
Oh wow.
50s. So this kind of like this isn't even necessarily the superhero stuff. This is just the sci-fi stuff. But it's really cool stuff, and I just like that DC is putting out these nice. Their DC Finest collections are pretty nice. The printings are all really good. They're as good as whenever I talk about DC's facsimile printings, how they're
Yeah.
just perfect. These are the same quality of printing. So it's just in a nice big collected edition. So definitely, if you have a hankering for some 50s weird sci-fi ape comics, like man, you're not going to do any better than this. All right, let's move on to maybe something a little bit more contemporary than 1950s DC ape comics. There's like several things that are in my regular pool that are coming out tomorrow. I don't want to like spend too much time talking about them. It will like briefly mention like New Gods. I don't know if you've been following Ram
Yeah.
V's New Gods, but is consistently really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really enjoying it. I like that we've talked about this before. I'm just going to put this down. Like I like that the way each issue kind of opens with a different artist providing like a short story related to the larger story, and then like the regular artist Evan Kagel, like it's just beautiful looking. Like this is a
Mm-hmm.
really good comic. And yeah, so really cool. Highly recommend it. You were reading this one too, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
So
Yep.
it's like I think not everybody that works for in our stores, but everybody whose comic book taste is just like a little bit more refined, shall we say,
Is
that works
reading
here
this.
is reading New Gods. So
I have a refined
you
comic
got
book
you
taste.
got a little bit of a refined comic
Oh, I
book
got. Oh,
taste.
all right.
We'll see. Also, Deadpool Wolverine #7. I gotta say, I was like, when they announced this book, I just assumed, and this is my fault, I just assumed it was going to be like a 4 or 5 issue series,
So did I.
and because I'm like, what? How much story can you possibly tell with a team up of Deadpool and Wolverine? And you got Strife as like the villain, and that's pretty cool. There's been, I guess, the plot twist. Was it in the last issue? It has to be. Yeah, okay. It's not on the cover here, but like the twist is that Apocalypse is the main villain,
Okay.
and so it's like a 12 issue series, and I was like, man, I guess I'm already halfway through, so I'm in for the 12 issues.
Are
But
you on board though?
I am enjoying it, but it's another one of those. I think I've talked about this before. This isn't specifically a retro continuity book. It
Mhm.
does take place in contemporary, like the Marvel universe.
Right.
But it definitely Sam the Connoisseur. That's right.
Why? Thank you.
It definitely plays to older guys, like nostalgia readers like me. Like
Okay.
it's got like the fact that the villains are Strife and Apocalypse and Wolverine and Deadpool. It's all very reminiscent of early '90s X-Men comics. Maverick is in there,
Oh wow.
yeah. So it's like I am kind of enjoying it because it does remind me of reading some of my favorite X-Force comics back in like 1993 ish. So that's cool. But I was like, this is issue 7. Like they're really gonna go to 12. Like Ben Percy's a good writer, so I don't doubt that he can't. I believe that he can do it.
Right.
But we'll see. So I'll kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to show it off every month that it comes out because like we're still got several more months of this, but I'll keep you informed if I'm sticking with it or not.
Okay.
Also coming out tomorrow, speaking of nostalgia for the early '90s, Youngblood Deluxe. This is one I feel like you either are all in on this or you just don't care.
Right.
And if you don't know what it is, you probably don't care. I think
That's the one where it's rewritten to kind of with
correct.
the art rearranged.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah,
that's a cool experiment.
exactly. Yeah. It's rewritten by Joe Casey, and the pages, some of it's been rearranged. It's definitely been recolored, so it like looks a little newer and fancier. Again, this is another one of those things. I can't really recommend it unless, like, I can only recommend it to 2 people. One, hardcore Rob Liefeld fans,
Okay.
and I know you're out there. And number 2, people that are just really curious about like creative process and creative experiments. But in order to do that, you have to read the original Youngblood and compare it to this new one to see the ways in which a panel or page can be reinterpreted just by different dialogue. Because it is like that, which is, I think, is
That's
really
so
neat.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but it's a little bit of an investment because you got to get the original issues and read them at the same time as you're reading the new one. But it's still pretty neat. I do enjoy it. Let's see. There's got to be a few other. I don't even have
G.I.
to.
Joe.
I don't even have to flip this over. GI Joe. I'm loving GI Joe. This series is so good. Yeah, GI Joe. Yes, it's great. I'm loving it. Oh yeah, like probably my favorite Batman series right now is Batman and Robin Year One. Like I said, like a lot of my like choice books are all kind of coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
But that's also probably indicative of the fact that I might be buying too many or reading too many books. Even like I know, impossible.
I
I
don't
agree.
think there's any. You can't read.
No,
too
you
much.
can't read too many comics.
Yeah.
But this, I know I've been talking about this one a lot. This is issue 9. This is also a 12 issue series, but excellent story by Mark Waid and beautiful art by Chris Samney.
Yeah.
This is just like as I've said before, this is my type of Batman. It's got the like that shades of the animated series in there. Like it's not quite like the Bruce Timm style, but it feels like it's related to it in some way and adjacent. Yes, exactly. And so just it works really well. Very cool comic book. If you haven't been following the issues, definitely get the hardcover or the trade paperback when that comes out. Let's see. I've got 2 other comics we'll briefly talk about. Los Monstros. I know I've been talking about this one. This one is really, really good. If you like straight detective fiction, just straight up film noir, except told in a city that's full of classic Universal monsters.
Right.
The main character is a werewolf. There's a Bride of Frankenstein. There's like a bug person there.
They're just chilling at a
They're
diner.
just at a diner for monsters. He's trying to find a missing vampire, and his partner is a Frankenstein who's been put together like a few too many times and kind of is like a little slow. Yeah, it's this is and it looks great. Like I really
Mhm.
like. It's just this is super professional comics. I mean, it's written by James Robinson, who he's a guy who's been around for a long time. Art by Jesus Marino. One of the best. This is actually, I think it's only a 4 issue series. This is issue 3, but this is just fantastic. As I love like film noir and detective stories, so
Yeah.
this is like 100% right up my alley.
Nice.
One last thing, and then I'm gonna have you talk about something.
Okay.
Mothra, Queen of the Monsters, #4 comes out, and this is written by Sophie Campbell, whose work I've been also enjoying on the Supergirl series. I've
Mhm.
talked about that. Art in this issue it's credited entirely to Matt Frank, and I think I've mentioned in past issues it's a little confusing because like I think the first issue it was solicited as written and drawn by Sophie Campbell, and then like issue 2 it was like art by Sophie Campbell and Matt Frank, and like the art looks a little different. And this one it's just Matt Frank apparently. So I'm going to have to assume, and this is I have nothing to back this up. I'm just going to assume that Sophie Campbell got this Mothra gig and was like, awesome, I'm going to do Mothra. And then she got the Supergirl gig,
Mhm.
and she's like, well, I have to draw the Supergirl book. People won't care if I don't draw Mothra. You know, if you have to make a choice, like I'm sorry, you're gonna draw Supergirl, not
Right.
Mothra. But the benefit is that Matt Frank is a really good artist. He's been drawing like Godzilla related stuff for a long time, and in this one, it's that's what was so like trippy for me was because it looks like he is kind of emulating Sophie Campbell's style a little bit, which is why like it's almost like you could be forgiven if you just assumed it was Sophie Campbell maybe like trying an experimental style.
Yeah.
But it's definitely Matt Frank, and yeah, this is a fun issue. It's basically just a montage of Mothra fighting with other kaiju to as like a training montage, basically. Like it's like they have to. I mean, if you've been following the story, which I know you all have, Mothra and Antra are teaming up to fight a new worse kaiju. And so they, like I said, this whole issue is basically just one big montage where they fight other kaiju to improve their skills so they're ready to take on the big bad. Maybe it was intentional. I said in the first issue, it didn't. Yeah, you did say that, and so I wonder. It's like it's a mix. Maybe Matt Frank did more of the art than we were initially led to believe.
Right.
Like maybe I don't know, but either way, I still really like it. Like it's like I said, it's not this issue. You can definitely tell it's Matt Frank and not Sophie Campbell, but I still really enjoy it.
The art inside looked really good.
Oh yeah, it's cool, especially if you like Mothra and like kaiju books. Like it's really cool.
Nice.
All right, Sam, what's something that you pulled off the shelf today?
So one thing that I read was Dread the Hall H.
Oh, good.
Which was a
I flipped through that one as well. I
yeah,
have
yeah.
we got 2 covers here.
It was a nice comics anthology, kind of about the some of the things that can go wrong at a comic book convention.
Yeah.
Real or fictional.
So this they last year this creative team they put out a book called I think it was just Dread the Halls,
Okay.
and it was a Christmas themed horror anthology. Like, and so for this one, it's Dread the Hall H, which if you've ever been to San Diego Comic Con, Hall H is where like the big panels happen,
Right.
you know. And so this, yeah, like you said, it's a horror anthology kind of set in a comic book convention. And I just real quick, I just wanted to mention this is the A cover here, and it's pretty creepy. You got a whole zombie thing going on. That the zombie's eating a graded comic book. Actually, that's Dread the Halls right there.
Oh,
so the
okay.
zombie is eating a 9.8 grade of their previous book. But this B cover is a pretty nice cover too. It's like it's a wraparound, and it just has different people cosplaying as different characters. Let's see how many people can we pick out on this cover, Sam.
That's a good. Okay, so that's Rom, isn't it?
That yes, I believe that is
Okay.
Rom. This looks like maybe some kind of Doctor Doom. Some of these are
The
clearly
pants are
like,
throwing me
yeah,
off.
some of these are clearly like mashups. Like this is uh, uh oh my
So
gosh.
in the book, that's the character who's like talking their ear off at the
Yes,
panel.
yes.
I thought
But
that's
he's clearly cosplaying as Asterix, Asterix and Obelisk. He's the character of Asterix, but with like a Ryu Karate Kid
huh.
kind of thing.
Okay.
That's like clearly like a steampunk Snow White, right?
Yep.
With a steampunk Batman, or like Abraham Lincoln Batman. You
Yeah.
know, that's
Saw.
yeah.
I
So
can't remember his name. Or
Jigsaw,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just like a zombie. You have a girl Hellboy,
Yeah.
a Star Trek guy. This mushroom thing, I think, is just a guy in a mushroom hat. I really don't know.
You don't think that's Toad from
I
Mario?
guess it could be,
Yeah.
but it's like too generic to really say if it is
Yeah.
or isn't. And then like yeah, wrapping around, we've got like a mech suit kind of person. And you pointed this out to me. I didn't catch this right away, but I was so excited to see that's Moonshine Bigfoot and his girlfriend. Like they're only 3 issues into their first series, and they're already appearing on
other people's covers.
books. So yeah, if you've been loving Moonshine Bigfoot, which I know you have if you've been listening to me, because we both really recommend that book.
That one.
And so yeah, that's pretty great that they showed up on the cover of this. You have Mickey Popeye, like Steamboat Mickey.
Yeah.
He's got the spinach in the pipe, like a guy in a Pikachu onesie. Not sure like specifically what that might like
The
astronaut robot
yeah.
thing. This is like looks like you know what, that could be almost any video game character, and I wouldn't know.
I thought it was supposed to be Hatsune Miku, but I
That's
could be wrong.
you know what, that's
Yeah.
probably it. It's probably because of the hair, especially. That's probably Hatsune. You got a Yoda. That one's pretty straightforward. That I believe is a character in the story, or maybe not. I'm not sure.
In the book?
Yeah, in the book.
Can't remember.
I don't remember, and I also don't. I'm not sure like what that guy. And then you have like a Godzilla here. But anyway, that was fun. But let's flip through the book, and you can kind of talk about like what was because it's an anthology series. So what was your favorite? Oh my goodness!
I don't have a lot of experience going to conventions, but I mean, from
there's a Superman behind us. Yeah,
promote the movie.
We need to. We're promoting the Superman movie. If you didn't see it yet, did you?
Still haven't seen it. No.
I saw it. I won't give you any spoilers. I don't want to say anything too much on the stream.
Okay.
I liked it though.
You liked
but
it?
I have a lot of nitpicks. I have a lot of little things that bothered me. But in the end, I can say that the good.
It wouldn't be a comic book movie without it.
You know what? That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, back to Dread the Hall H.
I love this sequence. So they like this story spans throughout the issue, I think, in like 2 or 3 parts.
Yeah.
It's just this guy asking a really obtuse. Well, he's trying to ask a question that's a little personal. But he's going about it by a lot of preamble. And
it's like 3 pages of him, and they do that thing where they just like copy and paste the panel to show that like time is just dead slow.
If it were any other way, the joke wouldn't land.
Yeah. It's if you've ever been to a comic book panel, like you get those awkward people that like and like this. I think it's straight up as like the first one. He says, let's see if I can get the line exactly. Because they're like, oh yeah, make it a quick question. We got 5 minutes left. That's like the whole thing. And he's like, oh hello.
Statement, right?
Yeah. He's like, quickly. All I was wondering is, well, before I just throw it out there, I want to say this is more of a statement than a question. And then it just keeps rambling on like with this like preface. And if you've ever been to a comic book convention, like I've seen that so many times.
You've seen that play out.
Oh yeah. I saw something very similar. I know everybody loves it when I share personal stories. I was actually at a comic book convention a few months ago here in St. Louis, in St. Charles, but and the comic book writer David Michelini was there. He wrote Iron Man in the 80s and Spider-Man. He's like co-creator of Venom. He created Rhodey and Iron Man. Like the dude's written a lot of great comics.
Yeah.
And there was like David Michelini famously I shouldn't say famously, but he wrote Amazing Spider-Man for a long time, and he wrote it during the period that Todd McFarlane was the artist on Spider-Man. And you probably understand, like, everybody refers to that period of Spider-Man as the McFarlane era, right? And so there was this guy that had a question, and it was like exactly how this played out, where he's like gets up and he goes, well, I've got a question, but I first I just wanted to say, like, Spider-Man was my favorite comic and character as a kid, and I have all of those, and he just was like going on and on about how much he loves Spider-Man, and the Todd McFarlane era was like his favorite era, and
he said Todd McFarlane.
He said the Todd McFarlane era, but that was a part of his question, because he's like, I feel really bad because, like, I never knew who you were, and as a kid, and it was like turning into this like awkward, like he was trying to do like a half-hearted, almost like an apology, and then like not a backhanded compliment, but that's how it was coming off, and it was so, because he was really trying to say like how important David Michelini's comics were to him, but how he felt bad because he always only associated them with Todd McFarlane, and he didn't know David Michelini's name until he got to the convention. And everybody's like, oh, the special guest, he wrote these Spider-Man comics. And this guy like had a mind-blowing moment. And he's just like, oh my God, this guy was like an important part of my childhood, and I didn't even know who he is. And he's like rambling on and on and on, similar to how I am right now. And then it like ended it with, so my question is, how do you feel about artists like getting credit over the books, like over writers? and it was like, you could have asked that question really succinctly, but he really he felt it was necessary to preface it with kind of his personal and emotional story, and it was just funny because David Michelini was just sitting there like,
yeah. What did he end up saying? Like,
answer? Like, he gave a really, like, I'm sure this is a question he's answered before. Sure. He had like not a canned response, but he basically was like, he's like, that's just the nature of comics. It's always been an artist thing. And he goes, he's like, I don't want credit for things I didn't do. I just want credit for what I did do. That's his whole thing. And he was like, I never like claimed to be the sole creative force behind anything. I just appreciate that people like what I do. And so he gave a very gracious answer.
Handled it well.
He handled it very well. But yeah, it was like I was reading this anthology with this guy trying to ask this personal question, and this is in the context of a horror story. Like it's a little bit of a horror comedy, but it is like a horror story of the horror of the guy with the last question who just rambles on and on about his personal life.
Who had 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
And that wasn't enough.
And so I was having flashbacks of that convention while reading this. Whoops, dropped my mouse. I'm so shook by the PTSD from reading this horror comic. But yeah, did you read the rest of it, right?
Yeah, it was good. I liked the story where the couple sneaks in through like the sewer entrance.
And that was like the third one. That was
hilarious. I thought
they keep cutting back to this guy. This one here. Yeah, spoiler alert. Yeah, that's what it's called. Right. Yeah, this one's pretty good. And this one, I think most of these stories, they were really like a horror comedy kind of a
definitely
angle. Like
soft.
It was pretty fun. You couldn't really. I mean, it's horror in that scary stuff happens, but it is definitely they're playing up the comedy of it.
Yes.
And then was that just those three? Yeah, those. I don't want to like spoil the ending of that one. Oh yeah, I forgot about this one. I think I liked this one the most too.
Oh, the Walking Dead cosplayer.
Yeah, the exactly. This just like it just opens with like a zombie walking into the convention, and everybody's just like, oh, great makeup, just like all. But what I think my favorite thing about it, and this was clearly done on purpose.
Yeah,
this zombie is obviously supposed to be the undead corpse of Stan Lee. Did you get that?
I did not make that connection.
That's like clearly supposed to be the hair, the mustache, like that's clearly supposed to be the undead corpse of Stan Lee.
There I can see
you can see it right there. Like they were referencing photos of Stan Lee for this. But yeah, like the zombies just
never picked up on that if you hadn't said anything.
Oh, that's funny. That was my favorite thing about it was like, and like people are taking pictures with him, and Yeah, and then like the whole time he's like trying to bite people, but they're like wearing gloves, or like just like keeps getting interrupted because of convention shenanigans. Yeah, it was pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah, we both liked this one, I think. There you go. One other book coming out tomorrow that I wanted to briefly mention because I didn't talk about issue number 1 when it came out, and I think it was just like a big week and there was a lot of stuff, and I hadn't had a chance to read it yet.
Yeah.
But now that I read issue 1, I haven't read issue 2, which comes out tomorrow. But Benjamin comes out tomorrow. Benjamin number 2, and I really like this comic. This is a 3-issue series from Oni. It's written by Ben Winters, and art is by Leo Max. And first of all, it's a really good looking book, and I love the premise. It's a pretty high concept where this writer who he's very clearly supposed to be like a almost like a there's a specific writer in mind, and I'm like blanking on who it was.
What they do?
Like Old Man in the Sea. It's really bothered me that I can't think of that. But it's a little bit of a pastiche of multiple writers. It's not supposed to be like an overt, like, because there's also some sci-fi writers in there clearly. But basically, he just like wakes up one day, comes out of a coma, and it's like the future, and he doesn't know where he is or how he got there, and he kind of teams up with this other guy through a series of incidents, and they're trying to figure out like why he's where he is. The one guy he teams up with is like a huge fan of all of his books, and he's like, you can't be alive, you died, you're dead. And then as they're going through their stuff, like I said, this series of events that they kind of get dragged along, they realize that everything that they're doing is a plot that in a book this writer already wrote. And in issue 1, that's kind of the high concept. And issue 1, it kind of made me laugh because there's like a scene where he's like, you know what, this is kind of similar to a book that you wrote. And he goes, oh yeah, that's right, the story about the author that woke up in the future and didn't and you just like it's like you didn't think that wasn't that wasn't the first thing you thought of, but that's part of the surreal nature of the storytelling, because it's like, how memory is, where like it's like until the moment that you remember that you know something, it's like you don't know it. You know what I mean?
I know exactly.
And so they're definitely playing that up in this kind of story. So it's really surreal. It's really good. I really, really like it. I don't even want to show off too much of it because, like I said, because I haven't read this issue, and I don't want to like spoil anything out of a 3-issue series. But like the art is really, really nice, and just like cool stuff. All right, let's move on to some other stuff that's maybe less challenging, shall we say. And that is Batman Superman World's Finest number 41. I have not been following World's Finest for several months now. It's not like it was bad. It's just one of those things where I'm just reading a lot of Superman books,
right.
And I don't need like 5 Superman books in a month.
You don't want to burn yourself.
I don't want to burn myself out. But I saw this issue on the stands, comes out tomorrow. It's got Bizarro on it, who is one of, if not my favorite Superman villain, I guess you could say, depending on how he's used. And so I decided I wanted to read this because it's still written by Mark Waid, and I know that Mark Waid has an appreciation for the Silver and Bronze Age versions of the characters, and Silver Age Bizarro is my favorite version. He's weird.
He's super weird planet.
That's right, Bizarro World, and it's straight up in this issue. Like, this issue is Batman, Superman, and Robin are trapped on Bizarro World, and all the Bizarros are trying to kill them, and they don't know why. And so it's kind of like it really play up the horror of it, because Robin's never really encountered a Bizarro before, and the whole thing with Bizarros is that they don't make any sense. Like the logic of Bizarros is that they do everything the opposite of Superman, but that's not even necessarily true, because it's like the opposite of something can be a lot of different things. So it's like it sort of like depends on how things are phrased is how they do things, or if it's just weird or silly, or a lot, because a lot of times the original Bizarro comics were played for laughs, like it was funny, and but this one, like, they kind of play the horror of it, of like Robin just doesn't know how to combat these Bizarros. He finds a Bizarro that's holding his upside down head, asking to be killed. And he's saying, "Kill me." And yeah, it's a fun issue. I really liked it. I was trying to find. They do actually show Bizarro World. There's Bizarro Jimmy Olsen, because Bizarro World is populated with Bizarro versions of Superman's friends. And that's regular. That's not Bizarro World. Well, Bizarro World is shown in it's a cube Earth.
Right.
It's just a big cube in space, and they're trapped on it. And yeah, I liked it. It's classic Bizarro,
Nice.
which is doesn't make any sense. He just does the opposite of everything Superman does. Beauty is against the law on Bizarro. Perfection is against the law on Bizarro World.
Okay.
So like if you're good at something, you get like arrested, but then it's Bizarro World, so you don't get sent to prison. You get let out of prison. It's just whatever you can think of to be funny. But anyway, the point is, I was happy to see a classic version of Bizarro depicted here, because I think too often in like more contemporary Superman comics, everybody wants to use the John Byrne version of Bizarro from post Crisis era, where he's just like a clone of Superman, and he's not a good clone. So usually he's just depicted as being like a dumb version of Superman.
Right.
And I don't like that. Like dumb Superman is not as fun as weird opposite of Superman. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's just my 2 cents right there. Also coming out tomorrow. This is one actually I think people will actually be excited about. I'm excited about Bizarro, but I know that's a niche audience for that one. Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe #1 comes out tomorrow. I know a lot of people have been pretty excited about this. Marvel's been building up to this with their Godzilla one-shots with Fantastic Four and Hulk and Thor and the Avengers and X-Men. And now it's just full-on Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe. It's got every character in it.
Does it take place during a particular era of Marvel comics?
That's kind of what I was gonna mention. Yeah. Like, I sort of feel maybe just a little burnt out on Godzilla versus Marvel characters. Well, because we already did like the
5 or 6 issues.
It was like it was like 7, because it was Fantastic Four, Hulk, Spider-Man, X-Men, Avengers, and Thor. Okay, so 6.
Okay.
So they did 6 issues. And this is not a one-shot. This is a 5-issue series.
Oh.
So it's going to be like a full-on like 11 issues of Godzilla in the Marvel Universe.
Wow.
And this one just takes place in contemporary present-day Marvel. Whereas all the previous issues, they had that charm of being set in a specific like era of continuity. And so, admittedly, like I was reading through this, and that charm of it taking place in like a specific period of like Marvel's history, that went a long way to me enjoying that book. And that when it loses that, I just kind of, I don't know, it just sort of feels like it loses that little hook, and now it just feels like generic Godzilla fighting Fantastic Four.
Well, it was a neat gimmick. Like honestly, like when you brought this issue forth, that was the one thing that I was expecting. Like, oh, okay, where is it? When does it take place?
Right. And so, like losing that, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, that's like, yeah, I agree. It was a neat gimmick. And then on top of it, like it's gonna be 5 more issues, like or 4 more issues. I'm just like, wow, that's a lot of Godzilla. And also it feels like a little redundant, because like I already saw this in all the previous. I saw Godzilla fight the Fantastic Four and the Hulk and the Avengers, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so now it's just like, here's more of that. So I don't know if I'm gonna like. It's not. It's written by Jerry Dugan, he's a perfectly competent writer, and the art is I would say better than the average Marvel comic art. And I that's something I usually dog on Marvel pretty hard with the quality of their art. I mean, you got Godzilla fighting a Celestial, like that's pretty fun. But yeah, I was gonna say the artist's name, but I lost track. I couldn't find it, and I don't remember it. So I apologize. I really wish. There we go. You get these big title pages. Artist Javier Guerin. Like I miss the old days where you just had the box right here on the front page, and I could just see what it is. But anyway, so Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe, cool cover. It definitely looks like it's going to break down to like a few specific characters in each issue. Like this issue is like Fantastic Four and Avengers. Next issue looks like it's going to be Spider-Man and like Venom, and then the third issue looks like X-Men, which again is just like we already did this. We already did this. But there it is. Okay, here's something that I can say we've never done before, ever.
Okay.
That is talk about Post Malone. I've never talked about Post Malone in my life.
Famous magic collector, right?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, the famous magic card collector. How much would he pay? Like $2 million for that?
The One Ring card.
The One Ring, yeah.
The One Ring, and then I think he has a Black Lotus too.
Oh, I mean, of course.
Yeah.
He is a famous MTG collector. But this is his very own comic book called Post Malone's Big Rig. And there was a free comic book day version of this out this year, and I read that. And I flipped through this issue, and it looks like it's, I guess, one thing I'll say right off the bat, it's a pretty hefty size comic. It looks like a kind of a double-sized issue because half of it is the free comic book day issue, but then the second half of it is just continuing the story. But yeah, so I read the free comic book day part and I flipped through this, and I can say I honestly have no idea what is going on in this comic. It is kind of bizarre and off the rails. It's about a excommunicated priest who is a trucker. He gets like a magical trucker hat or something. Oh yeah, there you go. Like he like prays to God for a weapon, and this semi truck falls out of the sky. Excuse me. And it's
what?
Oh yeah. You didn't like flip through this at all, did you?
No, I have no exposure to this whatsoever.
So there's like demons attacking people. First of all, I will say the art is really nice. Like this is really good art. Good. So I'm good on Post Malone for actually like getting a really good artist. He could have cheaped out and he didn't. So I'll give him that. But yeah, there's like demons attacking like a monastery. And when the first time I read it, I thought it was maybe taking place like in the Middle Ages or something, because it's like a secret sect of the Knights Templar, and it looks like it's a old timey village where these demons are just like killing and eating people, and there's like these like priests. Maybe it's not set in the Middle Ages. Maybe it's just like Eastern Europe today, and it just for all intents and purposes looks like it's the Middle Ages. I don't know. But like there's like demons killing people, and so this excommunicated, look at it, he's got the tattoos and everything.
Those are
upside down crosses, right? He's been excommunicated. He's a bad guy. He's an anti-hero priest.
Oh, okay.
And so like I said, he like prays for a weapon, and this semi truck just falls out of the sky, and he goes into the cab of the truck and finds this hat, a trucker cap, and he puts it on, and then and he becomes like a holy truck driver. He's like empowered with the power of the semi truck, and just uses it to plow down demons. And so it's like got a little bit of like a Army of Darkness, Evil Dead vibe to it. Yeah. So it is supposed to be a little absurd, but it is so absurd. It's one of those, like, I was reading this and I'm like, is this supposed to be funny, or is this supposed to be like heckin' cool?
He hath become trucker. It's supposed to be funny.
I
think, I don't know.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know. Post
trucker,
Malone.
deliverer of vengeance. Like it definitely feels like it's played for laughs. Sounds like a Muscle Dad centric episode. It does. It does sound like it would be an episode of Regular Show.
Yes.
Oh
like, my God, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right. So I have to say, I can't, like, it's one of those things where, like, I don't know if I can really recommend it because maybe Post Malone will pull a Gerard Way and his comics will be better than his music. And I know I'm gonna make enemies by saying that, but
not for me.
Thank you, I appreciate that. It's like I never thought in my life I would ever say anything nice about Post Malone.
Yeah.
But I gotta say I laughed while reading this,
Yeah.
and if that was the intent, then I guess good job.
Good on
And
him.
if it wasn't the intent, then it is still like worth reading because it is laughably absurd. Like either it's laughably bad or it's laughably good. Either way, you're laughing.
Yeah.
Like it's like when you watch a B movie and it's just so like stupid.
That's
and
as soon as like Trucker is injected into that, like that just screams
right.
B movie.
Yeah, it's very very. It feels like a B movie.
Yeah.
So you know what? Like good job, I guess. If that sounds like something, it is a special double-sized issue. Yeah, like I said. So, I don't. I guess the thing is, I guess what I'm having trouble wrapping my head around is, I don't know what a Post Malone fan looks like. Like I don't know anybody who professes to be a fan of Post Malone, and so I don't know if the people that like his music would like this comic. I have no concept of like if there's any crossover between his music and this, because every piece of music I've heard by him pretty generic.
Right.
So okay, I don't know. I guess I don't have anything else to say, but you know what? If you might have to at least take a peek at it just to see, and also like I said, double sized issue. If you like trucks and you like demons, it's all in here.
And just buy it if you like Post Malone.
And Post Malone, I guess. Yeah, you can buy it like if you like Post Malone. All right, we got a few more books we're going to talk about briefly. I am going to briefly mention this one. I didn't get a chance to read it, but the title totally hooked me, and that is Star Trek Red Shirts.
Nice.
I wouldn't say Umbrella Academy had the same tone of MC Mary's music. Yeah, My Chemical Romance. That's true. I agree. Like, yeah, Umbrella Academy definitely
it was its own thing.
It was its own thing, but it didn't have that. Like, it didn't take itself so seriously the way My Chemical Romance does. Like, I don't know. Anyway,
I can't diss MCR too bad. My wife likes them.
So. Oh yeah, well, you have my sympathies. But Star Trek Red Shirts. I like Star Trek. I don't read a ton of Star Trek comics because I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you read any of them because they deal with
a lot of stuff. Like they just did like a Deep Space Nine sequel, and Deep Space Nine's like my favorite Star Trek.
Right,
and,
mine too.
Yeah, it's because it's the best.
Yeah.
So I know I just don't read a lot of comics, like a lot of Star Trek comics. It kind of falls into that category of, I think we've talked about this too, where it's like licensed material that's like okay, I'm gonna guess that's a lyric to a My Chemical Romance song. But get back to Star Trek, the more important topic. A lot of them just kind of fall into that like licensed material. I don't know if it's really like necessary to read to like expand the Star Trek canon and the universe. And I will say, not to be too critical, but a lot of times I flip through the books and the art feels pretty generic. And I think maybe that's the trouble I have with it, because it's tough to make a Star Trek comic because the impulse is to make it like the realistic art, because that's Star Trek. Star Trek was a TV show where a bunch of characters sat around at a table and talked for an hour. Right. You know what I mean? So to make that visually interesting in art is a bit of a challenge. So that's what struck me about this issue, is that it is called Red Shirts. And if you know anything about Star Trek and its relation to pop culture, you know that the number one Star Trek joke is that the red shirts always die.
Yes.
And right off the bat, you open. This is a story basically about an away team that is nothing but red shirts, and it's played a little bit as like a tongue-in-cheek joke. And the first page is a guy getting mauled, like his face ripped off. Spoiler alert, I guess, for people that are a little squeamish. But do you? I don't remember the name of this.
Is that from the original series?
That's from the original series, yeah.
I probably don't know it then.
Yeah, but the point is, it like has that really shocking, and then it like goes through a series of like just kind of like spelling out the premise of the joke that red shirts get mutilated in horrible ways,
right.
And that's sort of the that's sort of the unintended comedy of Star Trek because it was a sci-fi show, but they also, to be like heighten the drama, they would always have like a character get killed on an away mission. And then like from a certain perspective, it becomes like a horror show because it's like, okay, we're gonna beam down on this planet and investigate, and then somebody gets their skin boiled off by something, and it's and it's like, if I was in Starfleet, like it would be really, really scary to be on an away team. You know what I mean?
Just go into the science
department. Exactly. Yeah, science department. I don't want to be a red shirt. And so that's what this story is. It's just they have this like special mission, and it's a away team of all red shirts, and they've all been picked for like this mission. And I don't want to spoil it, but like the tone that they're kind of setting up is that it's kind of like a little bit of like a Dirty Dozen kind of a thing, where they're not like criminals, but they are all expendable because they're red shirts. Right. So there's I won't say how the story unfolds, but I got a good feeling not everybody's coming back alive from this mission. No. And that's fun because it does kind of create a different type of tension where you're like, man, if they're all red shirts, any of them could eat it at any moment, even the main character. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's fun. It hooked me in a way that other Star Trek books don't. Nice. So yeah, that I do recommend that. Although I will say, I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to use my platform to complain about the red shirt joke. If you ever see somebody wearing a Next Generation captain's uniform,
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Yeah. And every time I'm wearing one of my Next Gen shirts, which is literally the captain's shirt with the pips on it, and people are like, "Uh-oh, red shirt, you're gonna die by the end of the day." And I'm like, no, that's original series red shirts. They're the scrubs. In Next Gen, it's the captain and I kind of like actually a lot of characters like
anyone in command.
Command was like all red
because engineering and security is
yellow, and science is still blue, but they like flipped them. Engineering is yellow, and command is all red.
Right.
And so yes, you just, when you make that joke, you're just showing your ignorance. Is all I'm saying. All right, moving on. Let's. I'm done. I'm getting off my soapbox. I think we have like 2 books to talk about. I don't know. Did you want to show off Imperial that comes out tomorrow?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read it. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to read it, but I did read the first issue.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit when it came out. What did you think of the first issue?
Well, I would recommend it if you like Jonathan Hickman. He's setting up a large overarching story that's going to involve all the intergalactic,
like their cosmic characters.
Yeah. All of Marvel Cosmics going to get swept into this war, where
I think Gladiator.
I feel like the first one feels like it came out years ago.
It does. Like it's and I think that's part of that is just the Hickman, like it's because it's a pretty hefty book too. Yes. So it probably is coming out like not on a quick monthly schedule.
They the first issue opened up with Hulk and other like close related Hulk characters going back to the planet
Planet Hulk,
because his son had been killed.
Yeah, it's like a murder mystery, right? Like they're trying to figure out, and then they're like, somebody here did it, and
and then chaos
ensues. Yeah. It looks pretty good. Like I said, I think I've talked about before. I'm not the world's biggest Hickman fan. I think sometimes his stuff is overwritten, but that lends itself to certain types of ideas and storytelling. And this definitely seems like there's a lot of characters in it, and it's kind of it's a big story. So you said you haven't read issue 2 yet.
I have not read.
Okay, but you liked issue 1. You're looking forward to issue 2.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know how many issues it's supposed to be?
I don't know off the top of my head. I want to say like 6.
I feel like it has to be a minimum of 6.
Yeah.
But it looks good. The artist is Federico Vicentini, who I feel like I've seen his work in something else recently, and I can't think of what it is. But this is one of like what would you call, like, I think you did say like Marvel's like prestige books where they actually do, like, because it's Jonathan Hickman, they kind of, I feel like they put a little bit more effort in the presentation. Like it looks better than the average book. Like it's clearly more important in a way, you know. So yeah, this it's definitely something. I know a lot of people are reading it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I finished the first issue. I picked it up because I saw Planet Hulk on it, and I was
Right.
like, okay, I like Planet Hulk, so you got me for a little bit. But it was a long issue, and I didn't. You know, I probably had like a Transformers or a GI Joe comic to read that day.
Distracting you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, so yeah, that one's it's looking pretty good. We'll have to keep up with it and see how it goes
I'll
as
keep
it
you
goes
posted.
on. Two more books to talk about. First, Battle Beast #3 comes out tomorrow. I don't think I have much to say about this that I haven't said in the previous issues, but this is really good. I love Ryan Ottley's art, and I love that he really just goes whole hog when it comes to the violence and the mayhem. Like just
oh my God.
blood splatters and explosions everywhere. It is just a sick looking book. Like it is so cool. And like the premise is so simple. As I've said before, Battle Beast is tired of living because nobody can defeat him, so he's trying to find somebody who can kill him in battle. And he's sort of amassed this crew of supporting cast characters who all hate him and also want him to die. So they're trying to help him because they want him to die, but they can't kill him themselves because they're too weak.
Right.
You know. So yeah, it's a fun premise. It looks great. It's just it's like classic Kirkman and Otley. Like I think I said that the last time. Like it gave me the feeling of when I read Invincible for the first time,
Right.
where I was just like, yeah, there's just something special about this that I don't necessarily get from other Kirkman books.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely highly recommend Battle Beast. All right, we got one more book. Did you read this one?
I didn't finish it.
Me neither. That's what a coincidence.
Finish it, and I didn't read enough that I feel competent enough to talk about.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty excited about this book, Ghost Pepper, and I think I don't really know much about it. The only thing that hooked me into it was the art. It's written and drawn by Ludo Lullaby or Lulabi. I think we had this conversation earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a pen name, like Frank Quitely, it's but Ludo is what I've always referred to him as. And Ludo was the artist on Battle Chasers when that came back after its 25-year hiatus.
Wow. Okay.
And that series was originally written and drawn by Joe Madureira in the 90s, and then it's been like issue 9 was in I don't know 2001 maybe,
okay.
and they just published issue 10 last year. It's yeah, and they're just like we're just back, we'll continue. But Joe Mad isn't doing the art anymore. He has Ludo doing the art on it. And he's a good artist. I like his style. He's got that it's a specific era of American comics that are influenced by anime and manga. So it doesn't necessarily look like maybe a lot of contemporary manga books, but it does look like people that were influenced by the types of anime you would see in video games from the 90s, like Capcom, like Street Fighter.
Okay, yeah.
Like I definitely see a lot of that in his art style.
Got a little bit of Evangelion DNA in there too.
Yeah, for sure. And so the setting of this is a little weird. It's a little out there. The story opens with a priest telling the legend or the myth of their religious figure. It's like a post-apocalyptic setting where there are robots that protect them, and everybody kind of lives in this poor, desolate area. And one of the main characters drives a food truck, and so she the title of the book is clearly because she uses ghost pepper essence in her cooking, and that's why everybody likes it. And so she's there's a little bit of a rivalry. It's her I think that's her food truck, which is like a tank. You gotta get around the post-apocalypse. But there's all these it's like a mix of it feels like a video game setting.
Yeah.
Like kind of a Final Fantasy where it's high tech but also primitive,
Mm-hmm.
in weird ways. And there's these weird robots that are supposed to protect them but try to kill them.
Yeah.
And then there's a character that shows up. There's a lot of action, as you can see just flipping through these pages. These weird robots are fighting people and killing people. And then there's this guy who's this nobody's quite sure who he is, I think, but he's like a legendary hero, and he like saves them from this like robot, and then like the story kind of slowly unfolds, and it kind of teases like, oh, there's something special about this guy. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I didn't read the whole thing like you, but flipping through it, it looks really cool. I'm looking forward to reading the whole thing.
Yeah, me too.
I would definitely say it feels like it's this is also a hefty, oversized issue, and it definitely feels like I guess like I said, like a story that's like a comic book creator that's influenced by video games. Like the story kind of feels like there's a whole open world that they try to like not like over explain everything, but they just kind of like tease you. There's a lot of time spent on with the characters, like getting to know them, and then like it kind of hits some specific archetypes. Like it like sets up like a recurring antagonist, and then you got the mysterious hero character. You know, just like I said, it feels very much like video game storytelling, but like looks really cool. So that's enough for me. All right, I don't. How much of it did you say you read?
I got to about the part where the robots started killing people.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you didn't spoil much.
Okay, good. Did you like it?
I did. I mean, I liked the art a lot. The world building that they did in just that brief amount of time, from the priest giving his story and then the food trucks, was just like, oh, okay, cool. This is rich.
Yeah, it's a cool. I think that's why I like it too. Is it's a cool world that doesn't feel like generic, like post-apocalyptic or cyberpunk. It does. I think that's what's giving me the video game vibe, because they always have like video games are always really good at just taking random things and putting them together and just making it work. And so this has that a little bit too. Like I said, a little bit of like a Final Fantasy, like early Final Fantasy type of world. So yeah, really cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Did you have anything else? Was that it?
That's all my books.
All right. Well, we're going to call it there. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I hope you saw some cool comics. Once again, I'm Aaron. This is Sam. Hey. Like our friend Dan says, there's comics out there for everybody. It's not just superheroes. It's also Ghost Pepper and Post Malone. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see y'all tomorrow, hopefully. Bye. Bye.